Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris and I am on a quest to build the greatest LEGO Castle army ever, integrating a reference to pretty much every single LEGO Castle faction. Last time we took a look at the Black Falcon's army as well as my Skeleton's army, but now it's time to take a look at one of the most prominent and prolific LEGO Castle factions, especially in the modern era, the Lion Knights, where I have taken Lion Knights new and old and combined my own pieces to make a full-on army of Lion Knight minifigures. And so, let's jump into my Lion Knights army right now. And behold, the Lion Knights army is here. This is to date my largest LEGO Castle army yet, factoring in minifigures from the early vintage days of the very first Lion Knights and moving onwards and upwards through the eras to the more modern Lion Knights that we have gotten in recent history, and even factoring in some fantasy creatures along the way. Many of the custom banners have been provided by Distorted Brick. Huge thank you to their custom cloth makers for weaving together many banners to support this army. And here we have the full force of the Lion Knights. Of course, we are going to be starting from level 1, the lowliest standard Lion Knight, working our way upwards to level 100, where you will meet the Royal Queen of the Lion Knights herself. And so, let us begin as we take a look at this massive Lion Knights army. Of course, we must start with the standard level 1 Royal Lion Knight. These are your classic knights, and some are even sporting alternate helmets. This fashionable fellow even has a vintage blue cape. Some are even flag bearers for Her Majesty the Queen. But all of these royal troops have one thing in common. They have standard armor, and they utilize vintage components from the very early years of LEGO Lion Knights. This is of course just a small sampling of the many standard classic soldiers we have, but of course, level 1 is the most common of all of the Lion Knights, but they serve as the backbone of the Queen's army. But now, let's move on to the next level. At level 10, we have the Brigadier General of the Commanding Infantry Army Forces. This man is distinguished by a crescent plume on the top of his head, as well as a more elaborate banner detailing the regalia of the Lion Knights. He serves as commander of the Legions of Infantry, and serves as the protectorate of all the realm. Of course, he is just a lowly general compared to what we're about to see, and only a level 10 soldier himself. And so, let's now move on to some higher levels in the Lion Knights armies, moving on to level 30. Of course, the Enchanted Forests around the kingdom are home to many a creature, some not human. Legends tell of unicorn knights, hybrids between unicorns and men, noble and majestic, serving the forces of the Lion Knights, who spawn from the Enchanted Forest themselves. These are some of the most proud and powerful warriors among the Queen's legions, and of course, they hold the regalia and banners of the Lion Knights faction. Their numbers are many, for they seem to spawn from the Enchanted Forest, and who knows just how many of these fearsome warriors there really are. Of course, this is just level 30, and let's move up to level 40. At level 40, we have Her Majesty's Royal Horsemen. Of course, we have the mounted unicorn guards charging into battle on their majestic steeds, with of course a flag bearer riding alongside them. These unicorns are upgraded with more effective armor, which you can see features molded lions on the sides of the armor themselves. As a bit of out-of-universe explanation for these, LEGO released Lion Knights themed LEGO Video unicorn heads in their LEGO Pick-a-Brick and Build a Minifigure sections in physical LEGO stores, mostly because they had to reuse the leftover mold from LEGO Video and decided to repurpose it to something else. Of course, the lion armor pieces originate from LEGO Monkey Kid, and they just debuted this year, making them perfect for the Lion Knights. And now, with level 40 summed up, let's get to that halfway point in the Queen's army at level 50. At level 50, we have a strange allotment of knights, for these are the recruited knights. They hail from distant lands, the desert lands, the pirate shores, and the oriental coasts, but their mission is clear. They all now serve the Queen of the Lion Knights. Of course, being recruited from other lands, they feature fighting prowesses and skills unknown to many of their opponents, making them one of the most formidable forces in the land. They too have been authorized to carry the majestic flag of the Lion Knights into battle, for they have different types of shields, swords, and weapons, but form one of the most formidable and elite fighting forces. These are the 5 warriors that make up the Recruited 5, and now let's move on to level 60. Of course, next up we have the Pikesmen and Bannermen and Women of Her Majesty's Royal Lion Knights. These, of course, are utilizing the standard modern armor, but upgraded with special flame yellowish-orange armor pads, signifying their special role in the army to act as outcriers and messengers of the realm. These knights are some of the most powerful, the swiftest and fastest, and of course carry one of the largest banners of them all, featuring the crest of the Lion Knights. But now, let's move on to level 70. At level 70, we have a Brigadier General Commander of the recruited forces, hailing from the Pirate Shores, who now commands a legion of elite, heavy Lion Knight troopers. These Lion Knights are equipped with the latest armor and weaponry to serve as the most powerful forces in Her Majesty's army. Their identities are obscured. All you know is that they are the powerful brutes making up the strength of the Lion Knights. Sporting dragon scale armor and specialized helmets, they are some of the most fearsome knights in the land, commanded by one of the unique generals from outside the Queen's forces. These, of course, are the level 70 Lion Knights, and now we move on to level 80. Legends tell of forces beyond our understanding, and different species populating the castle lands. These, of course, are referring to the Dragonborn Knights, level 80 in Her Majesty's service. The half-man, half-beast, they can only be commanded by a royal knight, a human, making sure they stay within line. But, if properly trained and commanded, these Dragonborn warriors are some of the most fearsome in the entire Lion Knight armada, because of course they are sporting dragon wings which allow them to fly over the battlefield. Of course, out of universe, these are utilizing the red dragon wing elements introduced for collectible minifigures as well as LEGO Video, of course utilizing that Monkey Kid armor, and some of their helmets I chose to use printed helmets to really just make them feel a little bit more unique. The heads underneath are all using the transparent red Ninjago Dragon Form Kai head from Ninjago Crystallized, which you can barely see between the visors, because I felt like that made for a more animalistic and less human approach. Of course, the main knight in the center is a standard human knight, barely keeping them in check. But now, let's move onwards and upwards to level 85. Being part of the Lion Knights entails far more than just power and skill in battle. In fact, the Lion Knights themselves are made up of a regimented society of nobles and highborn, which of course are made up by these celebrated legacy knights which you can see here. Instead of hiding their faces, they stride into battle with their identities known, each honored by a particular noble house in the Lion Knights factions. Whether or not they have the skill to actually be in the position of a knight, or they are just here because they are members of royal families is yet to be seen on the battlefield, but these celebratory knights serve by the Queen's side, acting as level 85 in her forces due to political reasons. And now, let's move on to level 90. At level 90, we have the most elite warriors in the Queen's service, an all-female fighting force made to strengthen the power of the Queen. These warriors have golden hair and serve with mighty sharp swords and, of course, carry the royal flag of the Lion Knights into battle. They are the most fearsome fighters in all the realm, featuring spiked armor, razor-sharp swords, and unique hairstyles and expressions that make them a formidable fighting force on the battlefield. No warrior has lived to tell the tale, and many say that every single one of these warriors has defeated hundreds, if not thousands, of skeletons in Malak the Malign's evil forces. But now, it's time that we escalate ourselves to level 100. Riding forth from the gates of the Lion Knights castle, we have the Queen and her forces of the most elite knights in the realm. The Queen, of course, is the most decked out Lion Knight yet, with majestic plumes alongside her helmet, a beautiful cape, magical emblems and staffs decorating her armor, and all sorts of incredible accessories which we'll take a look at in a second. She is guarded by 2 personal bodyguards, a brute from the Savage Lands, as well as one of the most fearsome knights in her command. Of course, accompanying her are the Horseback Knights, the greatest protectors of the Lion Knights themselves, with Scarabax beetle helmets. They represent the most elite of the elite when it comes to the Lion Knights fighting forces, both ornamental in the way that they charge their enemies, and also practical in their weaponry. And now, we will summarize this video by taking a look at the Queen. Even above level 100, the Queen sits at her own rank and is rarely seen without her majestic royal steed. She has metallic golden skirts emblazoning the bottom half of her armor, chrome golden rings that amplify her power enchanted by Magisto the Magic Wizard, and the most majestic plumed helmet in the realm. Featuring a one-of-a-kind royal sword, the Queen is ready to lead her warriors into battle, and even on the back of the Queen's cape, you can see the symbol of the Lion Knights itself. This is the most powerful Lion Knight yet, and a bit of out-of-universe explanation where all these pieces come from. The sword is of course the Harry Potter sword of Gryffindor. She is using the One Ring from Lord of the Rings around her wrists as extra additional power bands. She is using a Lego Monkey Kid skirt element from the Heavenly Realms as part of the skirt because I really love that metallic gold feature, and the base helmet is actually from the Lego City Stunts line, which allows you to place horns in a standard helmet, which I just thought looked super cool as part of the Lion Knights. And with that, we have summed up the leader of the Lion Knights army, and so let's take a look at an overview of her forces. From the lowliest brute soldier to the most fantastical unicorn hybrids, and of course the Queen of the Lion Knights herself, that has been our coverage of the Royal Lion Knights Army, a fighting force composed of the best warriors in the realm. Of course, this is just the start. Having covered the Black Falcons, the Skeletons, and now the Lion Knights, stay tuned because there are even more armies coming very soon as we amass them on one gigantic battlefield. That is, of course, our coverage of my Lion Knights army. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for even more castle armies being amassed very soon. Alright, and with that, we have summed up our look at my Lion Knights custom minifigure army. Let me know in the comments, do you like them? Do you have any ideas for improvements? And what faction do you want to see next as I work my way on to building the greatest Lego castle army ever? That's all for now. Thanks so much for tuning in, and be sure to like and subscribe for even more Lego news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Bye for now.